Hello and welcome to a bonus chaser video. Today I'm going to show off the tutorial level, so we'll just go through the main menu here and we'll get started.
Welcome to the training center, Agent. Here we'll teach you the basics of fighting and movement on the battlefield. With these basics, you'll quickly improve, ensuring that your first action won't also be your last. You can press the Show Goals key anytime during this tutorial, or the game to display your current tasks.
I'm not sure who I'm an agent of, but I know I like that guy's voice and I wish it was in the game.
During your missions, you will often have to get through areas where you can't stand up. One example is this pipe. Crouch down and make your way through it.
I'd probably call it a vent.
Well done, Agent.
Hooray!
Open the door and enter the other room. Open the door using the switch located to the right of the door.
You'll notice that the subtitles are repeated in the goals section at the top left. That becomes a problem later on.
Sometimes you may not be able to get where you want without jumping over obstacles. If you take a run-up, you'll jump further. Now, get to the other side of the room.
Fairly straightforward. Make sure you're running and take a jump. It's very easy to overshoot and the momentum will actually carry you off the edge.
Well done, Agent. You can jump over an obstacle by approaching it and then moving forward during the jump. Some obstacles may be too high for a normal jump. To jump higher, draw your legs up during the jump by pressing Crouch key. Jump over the obstacle and move to the next room.
Basically a crouch jump, but it actually explains it fairly well.
Well done, Agent.
Hooray! Yep.
You will notice that in this room there is a pool. You will not encounter water or need to dive very often, but you must be ready for anything. If you dive beneath the surface, the indicator for the amount of air in your lungs will appear in the bottom left corner of the screen. If the indicator completely disappears, you will drown. So, monitor this carefully, and when the amount is low, immediately swim to the surface and take a breath. In this exercise, you must swim underwater through a tunnel and emerge on the other side. We will continue there.
Yeah, not too much of a problem. Of course, in real life, I wouldn't even dare attempt such a thing. I do like the tiles.
Well done, Agent. You can move on to the next room. There is an elevator in front of you, which you must use to get to the next part of your training. To activate it, use the switch on the elevator that resembles a door.
A door? Well, there's only a switch. I guess I'll use that. Bit confusing, but oh well, let's move on. Here's probably the best thing I've ever seen. I wish these ladders were in the game itself.
Climb the ladder and move on to weaponry training.
Isn't that awesome?
Before you enter the room, I must inform you that it is totally dark.
Totally dark?
Each agent is equipped for such situations with special night vision goggles. They have some power consumption, so use them rationally.
Rationally?
Watch out, the battery status indicator is in the upper right corner. The battery starts recharging automatically when the goggles are turned off. Enter the room and move through it. Don't forget to switch on the night vision immediately after entry.
Not really all that much to it. We picked up the night vision goggles and the room itself is indeed totally dark, so we better use them rationally and get a move on. Maybe he means to ration the usage of it? That would make more sense, but to use them rationally, I know it makes some kind of sense, it just sounds really out of place.
Well done, Agent.
Hooray!
Good work, Agent. You've performed extremely well up to this point. Before we start teaching you weaponry, it's important that you evaluate your status following each encounter. In the bottom left corner of the screen, your health status is displayed. If this indicator decreases to 0, you will die. Try to avoid this, because we'd hate to lose a promising agent. Next to the health indicator, you can see your armor status. This is primarily the status of your bulletproof vest. The better the status of your armor, the less you will be harmed by enemy fire.
Lies!
The armor will degrade after each hit, so if its status is critical, it would be advisable to start looking for a new bulletproof vest. Now, you may move on to the next section.
By God, they could have given us something else to look at during the section. They probably chucked these guys in just because a bare corridor was just too much to handle and this was all they could really be bothered to do.
Sorry about the little accident. There must have been some kind of equipment failure. There is a medikit in the box in front of you. In it, there is a special mixture of drugs that will immediately stop the bleeding and quickly recover your health. In front of you on the table is a Colt Commando and the ammunition for it. Move towards the table and pick them up.
Okay, keep an eye on the show goals box.
As you can see, an indicator has appeared in the bottom right corner of your screen which shows the ammunition status of your selected weapon and its firing mode. The indicator shows the number of rounds left in your magazine and your total number of rounds. If the indicator of the number of rounds is red, then it is time to reload the weapon. Do not go into a fight with a near-empty magazine if you can help it. Always load your weapon before entering a room, or you may find your magazine empty at an awkward moment, which could prove fatal. Destroy all the targets in front of you, then move on to the next room. Practice reloading your weapon and changing firing modes. Note that in the burst mode, you will only fire a few rounds in a single burst, but at a much faster
blah, 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 blah.
One more piece of important information. If you hit the enemy in the head, in most cases, you'll be able to kill with a single shot. You must hit the body several times to make a kill, and hits to the limbs will only slightly wound your enemy.
Just remember, for that entire speech, you're stuck in one room and you can complete it in a few seconds with just 3 bullet shots. Obviously, sitting there through the whole thing isn't all that entertaining.
Well done, Agent. You can move on to the next room. Some weapons, for example the FAMS in front of you on the table, have 2 firing modes. In this case, firing standard ammunition and throwing grenades. Standard ammunition is shot with the fire key, while secondary ammunition, for example grenades, can be fired using the switched weapon mode key. These types of weapons also differ because the ammunition status indicator shows both. Welcome to the training center, Agent.
Fuck.
Here we'll teach you the basics of. Some weapons, for example the FAMS in front of you on the table, have 2 firing modes. In this case, firing standard ammunition and throwing grenades. Standard ammunition is shot with the fire key, while secondary ammunition, for example grenades, can be fired using the switch weapon mode key. These types of weapons also differ because the ammunition status indicator shows both types of ammunition fired by the weapon at the same time. Take the weapon and try to destroy the targets by using both firing modes. When you have finished, move on to the next room.
One shot, eat a dick. I know the glass on both sides is bulletproof, maybe they didn't make a blast proof as well.
Finally, we're going to teach you to use a sniper rifle.
Finally indeed, Giragast.
Sniper rifles, switching the firing mode activates zoom mode, a telescopic sight which allows you to zoom in on a target, making it ideal for the elimination of enemies at a long distance. Take the weapon and try to destroy the target using the zoom mode. Excellent work, Agent. You've completed your basic training. You will gain further experience when you get into action. Good luck, and try not to disappoint us.
I think for the sake of the tutorial you're supposed to be Stone, even though you're not told, and you're actually an agent at Mars Corp. This is obviously long before the events of Chaser itself. Moving along, let's have a look at the feature that came with Chaser, something that I haven't spoken of yet and I actually avoided using entirely, just to kind of recapture how I played the game the first time around. There we are, it's called Adrenaline Mode, and basically it's another version of Bullet Time. A very poor and sloppy version of it. There's actually no advantage to it other than the fact that it gives your reaction times a little bit of a boost. All that it really does is slow down the update rate of the game entirely. The enemy themselves still respond in the same kind of manner, and you actually fire the same manner as well. You don't get any speed boost from rate of fire or movement or anything like that. All it does is slow things down, and you get to think things out a little more and get to watch your impending doom come that little bit more slowly. Adrenaline mode itself is only really useful if you're surrounded by lots of people and you need that time to actually shoot at them all. Of course, if you find yourself surrounded by lots of people, you probably deserve to die anyway. The second example shows that even having that time to take care and make the headshots doesn't really help, because sometimes the guys don't really register the headshots at all and they take forever to kill regardless. The fact is that Adrenaline mode is actually not mentioned during the tutorial or during the game at all. It's only referred to in the keyboard settings, and that's the only way I really found it, either by that or accidentally hitting the Adrenaline button and wondering what the hell was going on. All in all, fairly worthless, and game would have been better off without it, I think.